What food will you never eat again? At the rehearsal dinner for my brother's wedding, they served pumpkin soup with lavender sprinkled on top. I don't like pumpkin, but I took a few sips of the soup out of politeness. It wasn't the pumpkin that made me gag, though. It was the lavender. I'm getting a little nauseated just thinking about it. And this was nearly 20 years ago. The taste in my mouth from the lavender lasted longer than my brother's marriage. Pickled yam loaf. Nope. Blue cheese. I love blue cheese. Ate it on steaks, burgers, salads, sandwiches, anything that a person could put it on. Then, when I was about 23 to 24, I noticed that when I ate blue cheese I would start to get sick. Like violent diarrhea within 20 to 30 minutes of eating it. That would last over an hour. It just came out of nowhere. I did some experiments after and definitely isolated it down to the blue cheese. Regardless of what I ate it on. I guess we can develop certain food allergies and intolerances later in life. I haven't been able to eat it for almost 20 years now. I've forgotten what it even tastes like. One of these days I keep telling myself that I'll schedule a vacation day or something just so I can eat blue cheese again. Up and go. When I was 17, I found 1-liter bottles of the chocolate Up and Go on special for 0.75 cause they were on about to expire. I got really high that evening and guzzled the whole 3 liters I'd bought. That night I woke up, took 3 steps, just made it to my kitchen sink and puked my absolute guts up. Collapsed back into bed, and in the morning the sink looked like it was full of little twigs. 11 years later and even the smell of that shit makes my stomach turn. Mall Chinese, because I pooped on the floor while I was vomiting. Natto. Disgusting texture and the taste isn't much better. Sea urchin. I always wanted to try it after watching chefs treat it like a delicious treasure. I went to a top-end Austin sushi restaurant and gave it a go. Its texture was like an egg yolk. The slightest membrane holding a thick liquid together. It burst in your mouth, filling it with sea snot. Never again. My college made these spicy chicken wraps that were probably one of the best foods I've ever eaten. Not only do I live states away from where I went to college, but the last I heard they changed the wrap station to something else entirely. So I'll probably never eat one again, even though I really wish I could. Liver. My granny's soup. Bread. Not because I dislike it or anything. It's just that damn celiac disease. And the gluten-free stuff is just similar enough to make you miss the real thing. And at like 3x the price. Those tacky chip things. They were not bad. But I ate some and then got sick with COVID right after. I guess my brain now thinks it was the Takis' fault and they just make me feel sick even smelling them. Fresh seal. Was working in the high Arctic in an Inuit community. Late one night, I'm walking along the beach and come across a group of women who were butchering a seal. They basically decide to see how crazy of a white guy the first am, and hand me a piece of the blubber. It was still warm, and without a doubt the most foul thing I've ever eaten. Very gamey, very fishy, and the texture of the sludge from the bottom of a deep fat fryer. It wasn't just, play a prank on the stupid southerner, either, as they were munching away too. But this, country food, as they call it, is what gave them the ability to survive in an environment where plants and vegetables don't really grow. If drinks count, Southern Comfort. A beef roast. My ex-mill would roast it with zero seasoning at about 5,000 degrees for 12 hours. It almost killed my love of beef entirely. At Thanksgiving dinner one year, My grandmother and grandfather decided to bring some dishes from home. I look at this tantalizing dish of cream and berries. She said it was a special recipe that my grandfather absolutely loved. I was violently hungover, home from college, and the anticipated sugar rush I was about to get perked me up immediately. I sank my spoon into it, and delicately grabbed a blueberry with a nice dollop of cream on it. I cannot begin to describe to you the horror that had just entered my ailing body. It was as if God himself had come down and punished me for my sins the prior night before. She had used sour cream instead of whipped cream. I promptly ran to the bathroom and vomited. KFC. I always find some weird shit in my chicken that just puts me off it. And Taco Bell's usually right next to it. So I'd just rather go with that instead. Durian fruit. Never again. Surströmming. It's a Swedish delicacy that is notorious for having the most putrid smell of any food in the world. Basically, it's rotting herring in a can. It's widely recognized as the worst food on earth. Octopus. It tasted fine, but in the years since I ate it, I decided I wouldn't eat the hyper-intelligent animals. Do drinks count? If so, vodka. Bad night when I was 17. 18 years later. I still cannot stand the taste. I can take it if well masked in a Bloody Mary or a bocce ball.